in trouble. So what's your punishment? Today I'm gonna teach Brandon how to make wonton dumplings and sumai dumplings. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, no dumplings for you. Are you ready? Let's get started. Dun, 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 dun. So first, we're gonna go over the ingredients we're gonna use. Mushroom, and if you don't like mushroom, don't worry because it's not an essential ingredient. Ginger, garlic, ground pork, because we couldn't find the 20% fat ground pork, so we're using the 10% fat. And also we're gonna use some shrimp. Make sure you buy the raw shrimp, not the cooked ones. So first of all, we're gonna cut up the green onions. We're gonna put a lot of the green onions, so we're gonna cut it up. Come here, my vision has been compromised. Oh my god, I'm crying, Come here, you do it. Okay, Big Bear is gonna take over the green onions.
Where you want to put this in here?
Sure. What happened?
You dropped the mushroom.
You dropped the mushroom? So now we're gonna put in the ground pork. Probably we need a bigger container.
I could have told you that.
We're gonna put in some cooking wine. So to make authentic dumplings, you wanna use the Chinese cooking wine. We're gonna put some cooking wine right here. So this is gonna bring out some of the raw meat taste of pork. To stir it up, we're gonna use chopsticks. Uh-oh, something happened. Okay, so now we're gonna cut up some ginger. So make sure you cut them into very, very, very small pieces. We're gonna put the ground ginger, or very small pieces of ginger, into the stuffing.
How much garlic do you want?
Maybe 3, 4.
4, that's it?
You're not gonna put a lot of garlic to overwhelm. So after ginger and green onion, we're gonna put some garlic. Okay, Brandon is now cutting some garlic. Do you want to show people how you cut the garlic?
No, because it's not right. No.
When Brandon is cutting the garlic, I'm gonna cut up the mushrooms. You want to cut the mushrooms into very small pieces as well. If you don't like to eat mushrooms, you can put other vegetables such as Chinese napa cabbage. So you want to make sure you dice up the mushrooms so they're not like huge chunks. They're like small dices, very small pieces, so that you can mix them well with the meat. So now Brandon is putting the diced garlic into the stuffing. You don't want to put too much, but I think maybe 1 tablespoon of diced garlic.
That's too much.
You know how Chinese people cook? We never measure anything. We just eyeball it, and usually it works fine. If you love garlic, put more. If you don't like garlic, put a little bit less. But you definitely need the ingredients to really bring out the good taste and to tone down the pork smell. So now we're gonna cut up the shrimp. So when you cut the shrimp, you don't want to dice it. Actually, you want to cut them in chunks. We're just gonna cut it like this. Show the camera, don't show me. Gonna cut it like this, so they're still chunks but smaller chunks. Okay, so And another thing about shrimp is that you want to use raw shrimp because only the raw shrimp can mix together with the pork. So you have the texture of both shrimp and pork when you take a bite. If you use the cooked shrimp, it's going to overcook it, and they're gonna be like individual chunks instead of mixing with the other stuffings. So that's the trick. Make sure the shrimp is raw. So usually I like shrimp more than pork, so I put shrimp and pork in 1:1 ratio. But if you're like BJ1, if you don't like shrimp as much as the pork filling, then you can put 30% of the shrimp and 70% of the pork. If you want to only use shrimp, make sure you have another type of meat because shrimp is essentially very, very lean. So they're not going to stick together in the filling.
Oh, that's perfect.
And when you mix the stuffing, make sure you do it either all clockwise or either all counterclockwise. So either you go like this or either you go like this, but don't mix it together. And this is something shared by the professional Chinese chef.
Baloney. That don't matter.
But think about the mixer.
It doesn't.
The mixer always makes it in one direction. You just want to mix it in one direction, trust me. As you can see, the stuffings right now are not really very sticky. You can tell like the meat, they're too lean. So one of the things we put in there is the egg white.
I'm telling you, that is not how you do it.
But it's easy. Okay, you're not in the camera.
I was telling you, this is how everyone does it. You just do it like that. That's how everyone does it.
Whatever, but you just need an egg white. That's how Chinese people do it.
Chinese people don't do it like that.
Dummy almost dropped the yolk.
Oh, dude.
Almost. I saw that. Alright, so now we're gonna season it. First, we're gonna put some oyster sauce. Oyster sauce. And then we're gonna put some hoisin sauce. And then we're gonna put some soy sauce. Because those sauce has a lot of salt, so I usually don't put salt. But if you don't put a lot of the other sauce, you can put salt. And we're gonna put some pepper. Pepper. We're gonna put this Sichuan peppercorn oil. It's gonna make a huge difference. But the trick is don't put too much. If you put too much, it's gonna be too overwhelming. But if you put a little bit, it's gonna bring up the flavor. Maybe I put too much. Uh-oh. We're gonna put the Chinese 5 spice. And then we're gonna put some sesame oil. So sesame oil is not something you cook with. It's something to season. It's for the flavor. It's not a really cooking oil. So put some sesame oil in. And you want to put a little bit of vinegar, but not a lot. Okay. So how do I know if the seasoning is good? Usually I smell it. So if you smell the ingredients, if you smell the stuffing, you can see, oh, if it's too much of this or too much of that, and you can adjust it because you have another bowl of the ingredients, so you can, if you put too much salt, you can put in more stuff. So it's always good to have some leverage to work with if it's the first time you make the dumplings. Another ingredient to bring up the flavor is sugar. If you don't like sugar, if you have diabetes, you don't have to put a lot. It's just something you use to bring up the flavor, so you won't really taste the sweetness, but it's gonna tone down some of the spice, but bring up the good flavor from the meat. You shouldn't be putting too much. So finally, to make the stuffing more sticky, we're gonna put some cornstarch. If you're making regular dumplings, you may not need cornstarch, but because we're making wontons or sumais, you do need the stuffing to stuck together so they're not breaking apart. So that's why you need cornstarch. Another thing I like to put in is corn, but since Brandon didn't like it. Did you like corn in wontons?
Nah.
No. Okay, because
No.
Brandon doesn't like
Just
it.
me.
So that's why. But you can put whatever vegetables you like.
No.
But there are vegetables that are harder to work with, such as eggplant. You need to dehydrate certain vegetables if it contains too much water, because you don't want the stuffing to be too watery. You want it to be sticky. You want them to stick together. Okay, so I think the stuffing is ready. So now we're gonna make wontons in sumais. Ta-da! Alright, so now we're gonna make wontons. Da-da-da-da-da-da. To make wontons, and it's very easy. You don't have to actually make the wrap, because you can actually go to the local grocery store. This is the wonton skin. Wonton skin. So basically this is the wrapper for wontons, and also need a bowl of warm water. Okay, it shouldn't be burning hot or icy cold. So I'm gonna take the wrapper, and then put some stuffing in the middle, like this. Okay.
But not too much.
But not too much. And then you're gonna use the water to wet the edge of this wrapper thing. Okay, so the flour will get sticky once it's wet. So once the wrapper is wet, it's gonna get sticky, and that's when you fold it like this. So now it's in a triangle shape. Okay. Make sure the stuffing is in the middle. Make sure there's no opening, like this.
Bam.
So make sure you do it like this.
I got sound effects. Booyah!
Okay. And
Show yourself.
no, I don't want to. No.
People want to see you.
But I'm in pajama.
They don't care about looking at this.
And then you're gonna fold it like this. You're ruining it.
I didn't do nothing.
Stop it. Stop it. You ruined my setup, dummy.
I didn't even change it.
You big dummy bear. Let's try one more time. Oh my goodness. Okay, once you're done with the dumplings, you can put it on a
They look
Tupperware.
like hats. You didn't tell me to make it look like a hat.
Okay, you come here, you sit over here.
No!
Okay, so let's try one more time. This is like a triangular shape. No, this is like a rectangular shape of the wrap. Ideally, they should be square, but it's not a square. Ideally, it should be, but it's not, but it's okay. So you're gonna use chopsticks or a spoon to get some meat, and make sure there is both shrimp and pork in each dumpling. Right, so you put it in the middle like this, da, 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 da. And then you put your hand, dip your hand into the water. And you wet the edge. So make sure you wet the 4 sides, all 4 sides. So now the side of the wrapper are wet, so they get sticky. And then you fold it and make a triangular shape of dumpling, like this. And make sure you close it well. So when you boil them in your soup, it's not gonna open up. Okay, and then, so it's like this, right? And then you squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, like fold it. And then, see the side meets right here? Both sides meet right here. And then you have a wonton. So this is the type of wonton that you see in the traditional wonton soup. After you're done with this, make sure you check all the edges. Make sure they're all stuck together. And there you have it. Da 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 da. Put something in the middle. Make sure you have shrimp and pork. And make sure you don't put too much. Make sure it's in the middle like this. And then dip your hand into the bowl. Wetten the edge. Then you close it up like this. Okay, and then it's a triangular shape like this. And you dip your hand into the water. Put it on the side, wetten the side, and you squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, and you stick those 2 top together and check if they're all together, everything is all right. And there you have it. Da 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 da. So let's say if you want to make a Shao Mai or Su Mai, what you can do first before you do anything is you want to cut the corner of the wrapper. Okay, so it's kind of rounded now. So what you're gonna do now is you put meat in the middle. And then you want to hold it like this, and you want to close it, close it, close it, close it, close it, like this. See, you're like squeezing it. And then you want to make sure it has some sort of waist, and use the other hand to flatten the bottom. And there you have it. Here's the Shao Mai or Su Mai. So you want to make sure it's like this. So squeeze it, and flatten the bottom. And for wontons, you want to boil them. You can boil them in chicken broth or clear water or whatever broth you want to do. And for Su Mai, see, it's wide open on the top. So what you want to do is to steam it, not to boil them. You want them to face up to steam it. And be careful because the bottom part could get really sticky. So what you could do is to use the coffee filter to put in the bottom, because that one is non-stick, so that it wouldn't stick on the steamer. So make sure you have enough meat, and then you want to hold it like this with your right hand, and put your left hand like this, and then go from bottom to up and then go like this. As you can see, I didn't put enough meat, but that's okay. So we're gonna use the chopsticks and put some more meat right here. Okay. And then make sure that you use the other hand to flatten it like this. And squeeze the middle waist. So to make sure that your siu-mai has a little slender waist, not a fat waist. Okay. So they can stick together in the steamer. Okay. Flatten the bottom and squeeze the middle. There you have it. And also, you don't have to cut the wrapper one by one. Honestly, you can just take these, put them right here, and cut them together. So after you make the siu-mai or shao mai, you'll put them into coffee filters. So in each coffee filter, I put 3 siu-mai. The coffee filters are non-stick, but the steam can go through it so that the steam will cook the siu-mai. So this is the steamer that we use at home. Make sure you only put 1 layer of the steam. Make sure you only put 1 layer on the steamer because you don't want them to layer up, because the bottom layer will get messed up and the top layer will not be cooked. So you steam them on high for 10 minutes and then you turn off the stove, you turn off the heat, and then let them sit for another 5 minutes. Make sure you let them sit in there and don't open the lid, don't let the steam out for 5 minutes. As you can see, they're all cooked. 1 more minute. Da, 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 da.
Use a mitt because it could be hot and you don't want to burn your hand. Wazam!
Was it? Wow! Looks good. 1 fell, but they're good. They're still good. Succeeded. Da 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 da. So now we're gonna transfer them into a big foil container. Just be careful, it's super hot, super steamy. This is what the steamer looks like. This is the bottom layer. You put a lot of water in it. Make sure you put a lot of water, but not too much. The water cannot get into the top layer, but make sure you put enough so you're not like causing fire hazard.